This is perfect. We have a major Rockets free agency update as the Rockets look to build off an impressive 2024-2025 season and add some new players from NBA free agency. Plus, they should also retain some talent from last year's roster. Welcome in to Rockets Digest. I'm Jace Andrews. More happy to have you along. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's the best way to support us. Free agency season is upon us. The official start date is like June 30th, the start of July and July 1st, so be ready around that time. There's going to be a lot of signings across the league. We're going to be pumping out a lot of videos and a lot of content, so it's going to be a very busy time in the NBA. Obviously, right now, playoffs still going on, so there's still a lot to worry about before we get there, but today, we look into an article that has 3 free agents for the Rockets to look at in this upcoming offseason, and they really need some shooters. That's a big thing, and that is a key point in our first guy we're going to take a look at. We start with this beginning of the report, though, as saying, quote, the Houston Rockets should make moves in the offseason to bring in some shooters to the team. Houston could make a big trade, but adding in more small talents to fill out their depth is highly important too, end quote. This all comes from Ryan Diamond of Rockets SI, and I couldn't agree more with him. You need some shooters on this team, and there's a lot of free agents out there and some big names up there. Now, if you see Green on the right side, that is a player option, which means there's not necessarily a guarantee they will be a free agent. You see Fred VanVleet, he's at the top of that list as well with a club option in red. Anything that is in blue, that means they are going to be an unrestricted free agent come the upcoming first date. Now, there's a bunch of names that I like to look at here. A couple we're going to talk in this video, and one of them that you're going to see on this screen right now that would be a potential reunion with Houston that I find really intriguing. However, a lot of free agencies, it's going to be a little bit of a slow-moving train for the Rockets in terms of the pieces they're going to add. I don't think they're going to add anybody crazy off the board, like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving. That's not going to happen. But a guy that I do like, maybe it's Malik Beasley. And he would be just a perfect addition for this Rockets squad, because last year in Detroit, he was a really good shooter. He had a lot of really good offensive qualities, and his defense was up there as well in terms of solidarity, and the way that he played the game fits in the way that Udoka coaches his team. Now, a couple of things to note about Beasley. He is a really good defender and still under the age of 30. His corner threes are where he's going to get a lot of his points, and his defense is up there with, I would say, the upper echelon in the league. I'm not going to say he's, top 10, top 20 or whatever, but I'd say he's definitely above average, maybe even top tier area of the defense in the NBA. So this is a very good guy to go out there and maybe take the pick at. He was signed on an $8 million deal this past year with the Detroit Pistons, so I think it would be a very good fit to try and bring him in for maybe a little bit more, maybe throw 10 at him, especially because that Fred VanVleet option team, it's going to be taken down. That money is not going to be $44 million. It is going to be way less if he even returns at all. Now, with Malik Beasley, there's a couple of things to talk about, and we go into it here. This from Ryan Diamond again, saying, quote, Houston needs a shooter, and Malik Beasley could be that guy. He just had one of the best seasons of his career, averaging 16 points on a 43% from field and 41.6 from 3. Now, this guy, again, had a really good season with his shooting percentages, and it's time to strike in some ways. He fits the mold of a shooter. He's going to be relatively cheap. He's a very good depth piece, and on top of which Detroit also, kind of in a rebuild era, they made the playoffs. We obviously know Amen Thompson's brother, his twin, they got into the playoffs. They lost, unfortunately, early too against the Knicks, but he's gotten some postseason experience in Malik Beasley. So I think this is a pretty good fit for a lot of different reasons, but I'm curious what you think in the comment section. I want you to let me know if this is a guy that maybe you'd want to have on this Houston Rockets roster. Let me know down in the comment section. Now, we continue on here in this report saying, quote, Beasley helped the Pistons get to the playoffs the first time since the 2018-2019 season. His shooting can be a big part for the Rockets next season. Having a consistent shooter and someone who can come into the game and get buckets is what Houston needs more than anything. The guard can come and fill that missing role and would fix the Rockets' biggest flaw, i.e., shooting. So that's just a lot of positives to look at when you're thinking about, what you're expecting from Malik Beasley. Obviously, we've talked about trading for shooters, Trae Young, Ja Morant. maybe Tyler Hero, or potentially, obviously the Giannis trade is there, the KD trade is there, but maybe you don't need any of that, and you just sign Malik Beasley, little small contract, 1-2 year deal, keep him in here. It'd be a really good addition, and some like under the radar thing that Rafeal Stone could do to make this team better in the upcoming years. A couple other guys I want to talk at, and a big one here. Steven Adams. Ryan Diamond says he is a no-brainer to bring back to Houston as well, as he just had one of the most dominant seasons ever on the offensive glass. His defense and intimidation down low in the post iced teams from scoring, especially in a zone with Alperen Şengün. And we know that lineup, the Şengün, the Adams, the double big, we loved it. I want it back. Steven Adams should be the guy that needs to be re-signed. I think, and this may be a hot take, Adams needs to be on this roster more than Fred VanVleet next season. The rebounding he has done, the ability to run that double big lineup, the plus minuses that he has been able to put out, not just in the games this year with the Rockets, but without his entire career. And this guy is so good that he has an entire Twitter page dedicated to his stats. And I want to go through a couple of the ones that this stat page has brought up. First of all, in 8 of the last 9 seasons, Steven Adams' team has led the team in offensive rebounding, or had that team lead the NBA in offensive rebound, with OKC for 5 years, with New Orleans, with Memphis, and then with the Rockets this year. That's number 1. Number 2, he is a plus player for 10 seasons. He is one of the only players in the NBA in which his first 10 seasons, he is always in the plus at the end of the year. And if you look at the Rockets number, plus 172. Like, are you kidding me? This guy has been a plus guy the entire time, and I would really like to see him back for so many different reasons. It's really kind of eye-opening when you look at the plus minuses and the way he is compared in the league, because I hate to say it, actually I don't hate to say it, this guy is with names in the top level of the NBA. Best net rating in the last 10 NBA regular seasons combined. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jason Tatum, I believe that's Kevin Durant or Andre Iguodala. It's Kevin Durant, it looks like. Nikola Jokic. And then you have the likes down there with Donovan Mitchell, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul. He fits in so well with all that. By the way, if you want to follow that Twitter account, he's up there at the bottom. Fun kiss stats. I don't know, but I love that there is a literal Twitter stat page dedicated to Steven Adams stats, and that shows you how valuable he is to whatever team he is on, and it should be the Rockets next year. I love the double big lineup. I want him back. I think he is going to be great with this team next year, and we saw what they did in the postseason trying to foul Steven Adams, and guess what? He just kept hitting free throws. It didn't matter. He hit 17 free throws, and if he can do that consistently and be a better free throw shooter, he is going to be the perfect offseason addition, and maybe the most underrated offseason, I guess, forget addition, retention player for the Houston Rockets in the entire year. And I say this with all sincerity, I do believe he is better in terms of value to this team than Fred VanVleet with what he can put on the court. So I know that's a hot take, and I kind of want to hear your comments down in the comment section down below of what you think would happen here. But I'm very intrigued to see what y'all think. Now, I did mention a reunion with a NBA free agent. Let's get into that. And we all know him, Clint Capela. A Clint Capela reunion could be good for the Rockets. This past season, he averaged almost 9 rebounds in 21 minutes a game. Bringing him off the bench would be great for Houston as they get a backup center who can move quickly and play defense at a very high rate. Now, that is a lot of amazing things for Clint Capela, and in some ways, I'd love to see him back in Rocket Red. He hadn't played with us since the 2019-2020 season, obviously been shipped off to Atlanta, and while his numbers have consistently gone down over the years since that Rockets season back in 2019-2020, I still think he is a really reliable option, and the key words are backup center. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get a ton of minutes. He's not going to be a guy that honestly plays more than probably 5-10 minutes a game. It's more of a rest guy, but he's going to be a cheap guy on contract. He is again, reunion piece to get him back in Rockets red. I actually don't mind this at all. Now, do I think that this is more important than Steven Adams? No, not at all. I think Steven Adams is way more important to get, and would rather him than Clint Capela in pretty much every sense of the word. But I don't think that's out of the question, and it'd be a very interesting thing to see Clint Capela back in a Rockets jersey. Now, there is one more player that I want to talk about, and we know this guy because, well, guess what? He played with the Rockets this past year, and although I literally just said he is not as important to this team as Steven Adams, I do think Fred VanVleet should stay with the Rockets this upcoming season. Ryan Diamond seems to agree with me, saying, quote, Fred VanVleet and the Rockets should work on extending him this offseason. VanVleet coming to Houston was a big move 2 summers ago when Dillon Brooks and Ime Udoka came as well. Signing him back would be great to continue development and help the team move the ball around the floor more, end quote. And I think the big thing for me is this. If you make the big trade for a Ja Morant, for a Trae Young, for a point guard type of guy, maybe there's really no point to get Fred VanVleet back because it's just not worth it at that point. However, I think if you don't, I think it's worth to keep him around for a couple years. Now, I know Amen Thompson is trending towards being a point guard and can control the ball really well, but for right now, I would like to have Fred VanVleet still there and be able to still kind of mold these young guys in some aspects. And he's been on a championship roster. He has the veteran experience. And in some ways, I think he deserves I'm not going to say credit. That's not the right word, but I guess deserves a chance to stay with Houston for what he has done for this team and for this organization over the past couple years now and really getting this team to where they are right now. So whether you like him, whether you don't, I think that is, in some ways, a very important thing. But you can't deny this guy is an important guy on the floor, and his stats, nothing pops off like, oh my gosh, that's great. Like 14.1 points, nothing crazy there. Rebounds and assists are probably around league average, to be honest, for a guy of his size, stature, and position. His field goal percentage, it's okay. His three-point percentage is, actually relatively decent considering kind of what you look at him. But again, I think his role is more important in the terms of veteran presence, in the terms of keeping him around because of what he has built for the Houston Rockets, and in a lot of ways for what he has done for this Houston Rockets team in the past 2 years and getting them to the state that they are in today. And that's so important because when you think about so many different things, you really just think about Fred VanVleet and how the Rockets started out this journey, getting Ime Udoka, getting Dillon Brooks, getting VanVleet. He was the molding piece to, I'm going to say, this entirety of this Rockets kind of rebuild in some way. And yes, he has said we're on track. And yes, maybe they don't need him. But if you can sign him to a good deal, I think he is worth it to keep around. But like I said, there is a lot of NBA free agents to take a look at. And I'm kind of curious what y'all think, and so let me know in the comment section, is there anybody that you would love to see, join the Houston Rockets? Here's again another look at some of the NBA free agents. Obviously, these are the top tier money guys. You can look it up and see a lot of them, but let me know in the comment section, is there any NBA free agent that you think the Rockets should go after? If so, get down there, get in the comment section, and let me know. We appreciate you watching here, and we'll see you next time here on Rockets Digest. I'm Jace Andrews saying peace out.